The King of Swords. Under the, you already know. When you get both, he is the I know, and she says to you, you already know. That is deep knowledge. That is trusting what you know. Now, if you know, why would you get stressed out? Because you might be stressed out about what you know. I know. Wow. The Fool coming up. I told you, I kind of feel like there's new directions coming in for everyone. But the Fool at the heart of the reading. Six of Cups in the past. Water got that in the past as well. Two of Cups in the present. Why does Earth keep getting the Two of Cups? Queen of Swords in the future. Well, there you go. There's a partnership. And the Four of Pentacles coming up as the advice. A couple of repeats here from other readings. Let's pop that down there. All right. So the King of Swords. The kings have mastery over their suits. We know that, right? And swords are our thoughts, our beliefs, our ideas, and how we communicate them. If you come up as the King of Swords, you know. This is Aquarius, you know, energy. Aquarius is fixed air. Kings are fixed. The Swords is air. So that's Aquarius's energy. Not saying you're dealing with an Aquarius. Doesn't matter wherever you have Aquarius in your chart. It's not about that. It's that element of knowing, of having mastery over what you know, of being confident in how you communicate, in speaking from a place of knowledge. Now, that knowledge may be gained from personal experience. That's where the Queen of Swords comes up. But there's the meeting of two minds here coming up. So think about that in terms of what you're building long term. You know, I'm going for that career. I'm going for that. I want that house, that mortgage, whatever it is that I'm planning on doing. You know what you want to build. You know where you're going. You know you're ready for something new. You know you're ready to leap into something else. What is it that you know, though? And now that knowledge may be coming from your intuition, from a gut feeling that you have. I mean, you've heard me say this so many times. When the High Priestess shows up in a spread, what she is actually, she's calling you out. She's calling you out, especially if you say, I don't know. She's saying, you do know. You do know. Trust your gut feeling on this. Trust the dreams in this. Trust your intuition about this. But the thing is, both of them, he talks, right? He thinks things, he speaks them. It's very articulate, yes, but he sits there thinking and speaking. She sits there knowing, with all that knowledge, she knows. But neither of them take much action. So think about that. This week's very much a week of knowing what you know. Now that sounds crazy because you think, well, if I know it, then I know it. No. Sometimes we know things, but, you know, maybe if you know... I'm trying to think of an example of something that I would know. The messages. So check out the water message. You know, it's massive how it came through. Or this message, how it's coming through. So I know it. That's me, King of Swords, sat here speaking from a place of, you know, what I'm getting from this, the message, and I'm trying to deliver it to you. And with the High Priestess, that's me tapping into my intuition, using all my skills of what I know, tapping into the collective earth energy. This is an earth message, right? We're tapping into that to deliver it. Now, I kind of know that, but imagine if instead of doing that, instead of just purely letting it flow through, however it comes through, ums, ahs, whatever, tripping over my words, not sure how to explain the energy, I managed to get through that. Imagine I'm not doing that. Imagine I start thinking, well, how are they going to understand this? What are people going to think about this? The messages like that. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to do it. So for me to know what I know, I fully sit in the knowledge of what I know right now and speak from a place of authority of where I am right now. Not how's this going to be taken? What's my audience going to say? Are people going to like this video? How are they going to understand? I can't do that. Because if I do that, then I stop. If I do this, then I start doing this. Then I stop doing this, sorry. And that's that whole, you know, that whole tension built up in your body. Your body has a great way of telling you what's going on. It does. Have you ever felt, you know, you're in a situation, you kind of feel tense. You may not even know yet. Your head and heart haven't caught up with the fact that you're stressed out, but your body knows. And you're kind of tense. Or you know, you're talking to someone, all of a sudden you get that kind of butterflies in your stomach. So your body's telling you, oh my God, this is a kind of significant person here. And that's why I feel like it says the tension in your body, but your body will tell you exactly where you are. And it will tie in with this. Now, the Six of Cups coming up in the past, that's a lot. I really feel like this is a week of where everything that you've been through up until this point, the jobs you've tried to get, the relationships you've tried to build, the businesses you've tried to grow, whatever it is, you know, how you've tried to decorate your house, the possessions that you have in it, the kind of car you drive, like all of those little goals and dreams, not little, but the goals and dreams that we set ourselves. There's a deep understanding that comes in around why you've done that. What was the purpose of that? What knowledge did you gain from achieving those things? Because the Six of Cups coming up in the past, I said this in water as well, this is having made peace with our past. This is nostalgia. Now this can be the return of an old dream, or this can be memories of when things were lovely and innocent and, you know, joyful. This is a time before the loss of innocence. But the main thing when I see the King and Queen of Swords coming up in a reading with the Six of Cups is what we've made peace with, especially when it comes up in the past. So that is almost like blanking out the past. The past has no bearing here. And that is a message echoed in water. There is this kind of magnificent focus on where we are, what we know right now, what our instincts are telling us right now. Not because we've invested time and energy into something, not because we have a history with this thing, person, whatever. It's what we know right now to be our truth. And what do we know to be our truth right now? Why do we need to see where we are right now? The Fool tells us that. And the Fool, it's that time, it's ready to go again. It's ready to leap into something new. If you watched the day I'm recording this on the 10th. If you watched the 9th, I think it was day 15 of the Scorpio season challenge, I talked a lot about the Fool, the journey of the Fool. And so with that as the focus, this is that getting ready to leap into something for a new experience. Doesn't mean we're all leaving our relationships, our jobs, our businesses, whatever. It doesn't mean that. Some, yes, it means that. But this is a new experience from the long term for those things that bring us security and stability. It is when a deep knowledge begins to play out, a deep understanding of everything that we've been through. And in that sense, with that energy coming up there, and don't forget, the High Priestess is a decision card, and the King of Swords is an amazing person to make that decision. Both the King and Queen of Swords are great at making decisions. And the twos, I see the twos in the Major Arcana as the decision cards. So we have the number 20, 2 add 0, is judgment. We make a judgment call. 11, which is a 2 as well, that's justice. We weigh up the pros and cons. We make a fair decision based on all parties. But the High Priestess is a decision that we make to act on our intuition, to act on what that gut feeling is. There's no logic around it. And yet I feel like the way it's communicated or spoken about, or, you know, because it's a king coming up there, what he knows now, the knowledge is coming from the High Priestess, not coming from his experience. I mean, it's from his experience, but what his experience has ignited this intuition that he has, deeper understanding. Hope that makes sense. Very spiritual energies have been coming up as an underlying. There's a deep, and that's Scorpio season. It's that depth of knowledge that's been kind of churned up. Maybe things from your childhood that you hadn't realized, because the Six of Cups can be childhood. We've gone that far back and had a look to see, why do I have these patterns? Why do I do this? Why am I afraid to do certain things? Why do I have these relationships? Why do I have these connections? Why do I try to do everything on my own? Whatever it might be. So with the Fool here, the Fool is about to leap into the unknown to have a new experience. Now, he doesn't know what's coming up ahead, and that's been a repeat message in all of the videos I've done so far, which is we don't know what's coming up ahead. And I think that's because we haven't yet leapt into it, or we haven't decided what's ahead yet. Think about that. And yet on some level you have, because the High Priestess comes up here. But she's passive. She doesn't act. And if you have a look, there aren't really any action cards coming up here. There aren't any action cards. We've got, the whole point of this is about to leap into something, to have a new experience, yes. But this is about where we have faith in ourselves, faith in our ability to step forward, faith that there will be support for us when we need it. That's why it's a leap of faith. And again, so with that surrender stress, we get stressed out when we don't know what's up ahead. We don't know what's up ahead. Excuse me. When you get the High Priestess, and I think it was Water that got the Moon, and also the Seven of Swords hasn't come up, but the Seven of Swords, those three cards, I see them as the shadows. Things that we want to hide in the shadows, keep in the shadows, where we want to remain in the shadows. They're secrets. It's secrecy. And that's not always nefarious. It's sometimes we're not ready to face things, but maybe that's the leap of faith that we take, where we're now ready to face the unknown, we're ready to jump into something new. We've made our peace with the past. Let's get one for that Fool. Where is that? There we go. The Page of Cups. So, I mean, think about that. If the Page of Cups is that's that little fishy, right? The little emotion that it's very childlike, very innocent. The Page of Cups. That's why it's seen as puppy love. It's love, but it's pure love. It's not the other things that we attach to love, which, you know, might be possession or lust or romance or whatever. Any of that. It's not any of those things. Not yet. We decide that ourselves. Maybe that's a conversation that needs to be had with these two. But this is where we understand that I feel this, and we take the leap based off a feeling that we have, or an intuition, or it's part of some spiritual something, because cups are all about our emotional growth, our spiritual growth, our intuition, all of that heart-based energy. This can be a budding new emotion, something new that's there. And that little fish in the cup, it can't live in the cup. You can even see it leaping out here. What are we going to do with that? How are we going to nurture it? How are we going to grow that? And it feels like we need to go in a different direction to do that, or take a leap into something new, have a new experience. Now, the Fool generally is someone who's going to go off on a journey by themselves, even though he has his little dog with him, which represents support. But he's the one that decides, I'm about to jump into this, right? With the Page of Cups, because he has it's from a deep emotional place. I want to remind you, though, that King of Swords came out first. It's almost like you'll know what to do. You'll know what to do with that. But be open to looking at what you feel. I know it's earth. I get it. But water is the main driving energy of this week. Even though we have lots of other things going on in other signs. It's not just Scorpio that's the cause of that. But it is that deep emotional drive, or what we're feeling, or what's been unearthed, or what's been uncovered by all of that knowledge that we've been gaining, maybe through the Scorpio season challenges, or maybe through the whole of 2019, or maybe since 2000, like whatever your time span is. Trust that you know now, but trust that it's time to take that, no matter what you've done, to take it in a different direction, or to do something with this. Now you've got the Two of Cups coming up here. And this very well might be speaking on the long-term nature of our relationships. So that Fool might be that it's time to take that relationship in a new direction, or it's time to do something different within that relationship, to express how you feel. I mean, this could be very simply, the Page of Cups is the I love you, an expression of emotion. But in the present, we have the Two of Cups, which is a deep, profound connection. And we have, so there's two cups that match, two people who feel the same way about each other. But then you get the King and Queen of Swords. They speak. They're all about words. They're all about communication. They're all about conversation with each other. And they actually usually both seen as single. Especially with that Fool coming up there. So maybe you've been trying to do stuff on your own. Maybe as far as you've planned your journey, it's been as a solo person. And now it's time to start figuring in, well, how does this person play a role in my life? Or how does this person play a role in my life? And is there love and support here? Are we on the same page? That is a deep and profound card about connection to people. I mean, they're similar. Their cups are the same. That's what's so beautiful about this. And that can be a child, a parent, a sibling, a family member, a lover, it's some kind of sacred union, a teacher who taught us, someone who got us, who understood us and helped us with the way that we work or study and that kind of thing. But it's coming up, it's prevalent here. And so it may be urging us that now, from where we are, with the knowledge that we have of ourselves and what our intuition is telling us, and the new experience that we're headed towards, the peace that we've made with our past, the things that we love and that we're ready to go and embrace, that involves people as well. I'm going to say this as well. I never come into readings with expectations ever. It just doesn't work. And that's the way I'm very present for whatever comes up. And no matter how I'm feeling before, I know whatever emotion or anything that comes, anything that comes up, the way the cards come up, how they go, whatever, that is part of the message. I truly do believe that. And I know that. But if I had come into, I would not have expected, because it feels like a major pause. It feels like a major week to figure stuff out. No, but I don't think it's even that, because that energy, what it tells us is we've already figured it out. It's what we do with what we've figured out now. And if you think about the Two of Cups as relationships mirroring where we are, because, whatever they bring to us in their cup is what we have in our cup. That's the easiest way to see where you are. When you see how you react or relate or connect to the people around you, connections are great mirrors for us. They show us where we are. The same way that a mirror doesn't become you. And that's where so many of us screw up, because we start superimposing our own, whatever potential we see in them or whatever, on people. But a mirror doesn't become us, right? If you're having an amazing day and you look in the mirror, you think, wow, I look so good today. If you're having a really awful day and you're tired and exhausted, you're going to look in that mirror and think, oh God, look at the bags under my eyes. I'm having such a bad hair day today. But the mirror doesn't change. How we see ourselves changes. That's what this kind of really feels like. With what you know now, with where you are coming from, with that intuitive decision that you're looking to make this week around your long-term plans. Some of you may be that you're getting ready to jump into something new. And in that case, that's how you de-stress. Go hang out with a loved one. Go have a conversation with someone. Someone that supports and loves you. The best friend that you ever had. The Two of Cups can be that. We've got the world with it. And it kind of feels through that connection, whatever that is, whoever that might be, you do figure out what's ended, what you've learned, and the world is the last card of the major arcana, and then we go into the Fool. What needs to be wrapped up? What conversation needs to be had before we jump into something else? Who are we taking with us? Or which relationship in your life right now is helping you to see how far you've come? It may not be the most pleasant relationship in the world. Sometimes when we mirror each other, we don't just mirror each other's positive, we mirror each other's shadows sometimes as well. But the world is graduation. It says you're done with that. So that could be patterns in relationships. And think about that. With what we're building in our lives, we don't build it alone. We don't build it alone. Nobody built an empire by themselves. You can be at the helm of the ship. I'm mixing up my metaphors here, but there's still other people that listen to your orders or follow you or help you to build what you're building. And it feels kind of big now. Who are the partnerships? Who's your ride or die? Who's there for you? And it may be surprising, especially if you watch the other videos, you'll see it may be surprising to you who is there, who you do feel connected to, and who you don't feel connected to anymore. Now, there's no pain out of this. There's no painful endings or any of that. I feel like this is a massive realization which prepares you for change. A massive realization. Now, for some of you, the Two of Cups represents an ideal. An ideal. That now I know what I know. Now I've made my peace with the past. Now I know what kind of experience I want going forward. Now I'm open to X, Y, and Z type of connections. That's a big realization, especially in an earth message, which is all about building and commitment and long-term roles. Who are you committed to? And I don't just mean romance. I mean a day-to-day. Who is that who blows up your phone with nothing but negative messages all day? But they don't support you. They don't really care how you are. You're just a venting place. It could be something like that. Because that's going to help show you, well, my cup's not like that anymore. Our vibrations don't matter. I don't really have anything to say to this person. I've learned everything that I needed to from that mirror. I'm now ready for a different kind of relationship. So that's a massive realization right there. And it can be stressful. That's going to be stressful. If your best friend from 20 years, all of a sudden you're not connecting. That actually happened to me. And I think we had been friends at something like 35 years at that point. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? This person's always been in my life. I mean, we're still friends now, but I remember the moment. And that's when our dynamic had to change. How we communicated with each other had to change. And we're stronger for it. I mean, that's what I mean. It doesn't have to be an ending. But you have to take that leap off the cliff on faith by expressing what you're feeling. I'm not feeling this anymore. Or I want to go and explore this instead. So coming up in the future, and that might be that one, if you're the King of Swords and you figured all of this stuff out. One second. Sorry, guys. So yeah, if you're the King of Swords and you figured all of this stuff out, you figured out what kind of relationship you want, you figured out your behavior, you know, what you've learned from relationships, your patterns in relationships, all of that, and you're ready to leap into something new. That's what comes in. Queen of Swords, who is the perfect partner for the King of Swords. I know some people don't think they are. I don't know why. People kind of think they just fight with each other. Maybe in their lowest vibration. Not with the Two of Cups sitting next to both of them. And the World, which says you have knowledge now. And maybe that's an openness of, you know, in a situation where there is a deep heart connection, but there hasn't been conversation. There hasn't been conversation because the Queen of Swords comes in. They would talk to one another. And if he's the advisor and he knows everything, the thing with the Queen of Swords is what is her speciality? Her speciality is her. She knows who she is. She's not afraid to go forward and speak her truth wherever. It's kind of bizarre, if for some it may be, but that the earth message is a lot around our relationships, and I mean all relationships. How you speak to the person in the grocery store. That Two of Cups represents a lot here. And it may be the release of a relationship that you thought you'd be in forever, or that had meaning for you forever. In that incarnation, like, you know, you don't see it in the same way anymore. You know that it must evolve and change into something new. But then we must speak in a different way, and we must show our authentic selves in those relationships, Queen of Swords. And if you need help with authentic expression, check out day 11 of the Scorpio Season Challenge. I wax lyrical about authenticity. All of the readings so far, I've had that. Whatever the feeling stuck, the pause, the consideration, the knowing what you know, whatever it is, there's something so beautiful on the other side of it. But nothing happens without our participation. That's the purpose of why we go through this. That's the advice of how to get to this. And this is the revelation of who you truly are. Think about that. The sun is revealing everything. And she is someone who represents our authentic self, who we have become after all the challenges that we've been through. And the expression of that, the fearless expression of that. She's not afraid of anything. She's not afraid of anything. Why would she be? She's experienced it all, and she's made a peace with it. More to the point. She's gained knowledge from it. And so this is about sharing that aspect of yourself, being able to bringing it out into the light. That's how you go forward now. It sounds weird, right? But remember what I said, the High Priestess can be secretive. The moon can be secretive, and that came up in water. And that's the beauty of when we bring it out from the shadows, then we bring it out into the sun. Then it can grow. then it can grow. And the sun card also reminds us that we are the sun. In the solar system of our life, we are the sun. And so what we focus on grows. What are you asked to focus on with the sun then? Your own authentic truth, who you are. Expressing that with positivity and light, you know, in terms of growth. And I won't go into it because I did say I talked about it at length in day 11 of the Scorpio season challenge. But your authentic truth is not judgment. Judging another person or dictating what you think they should be doing or not doing, or how their behavior is, or critiquing them, that is not an expression of your own authentic heart truth with that Page of Cups there. When you express from your heart, you say, I feel this, I know this, I would love this. That's what it is. And then the only thing that does is makes us feel vulnerable. And it does make us feel vulnerable. It does make us feel vulnerable. So think about that. I mean, if it was, say, for example, I was doing this as a work reading for me, my long-term goals for Aquarian Insight, Earth energy, right? I'll just give you an example of how to use this. Then it may say, well, Jay, you sit there as the King of Swords, using your intuition to share whatever comes up. But maybe what's needed is more of your story, because the Queen of Swords can be that. She could be the motivational speaker that stands up there and says, hey, I'm 90 days clean, or, you know, whatever it is that took her to gain this knowledge. And then maybe that would be telling me that if it's time for you to bring that, I mean, I do that already, but, you know, if I didn't, bring that out. If I want to have a deeper connection with you guys, if I want to focus on my ride or die people, the people that connect with me, who are on the same journey as me, who help promote my growth as I help promote your growth, then I have to accept then, right, that if that's the only kind of connection I want, then I'm not going to pander or cater to anyone else. I focus on where my heart is, which is with those kinds of people. And I speak my truth from them. Now, what would be the advice then? So, you know, check out the scenario that I just gave. You can give it for whatever area you want. But with the Four of Pentacles coming up here, it will make you feel vulnerable, expressing that authentically. And it may be that this is where you ask for your needs to be met in a relationship. It may be where this is where you tell someone that you're in a relationship with, a colleague, a friend, a lover, or someone, that there's nothing really wrong here. It's just not in line with who you are right now anymore. And it's actually harder. It's actually harder when it's this Six of Cups energy sat above it, which is you've made your peace with so much. You've gained so much knowledge, you know, from the experiences that you've had. And you want to stay here a little bit longer, right? And that happens. Trust me, every time I feel like I get to a good place, I used to resist that. I used to be like, I don't want to go back to school. I don't want another cycle to begin. Why can't I just stay here for a little longer? Because there's no growth. And the more you start growing, the faster and faster you grow. And that's when people start saying that, oh, I'm getting downloads and awakening symptoms and ascension symptoms and all sorts of stuff. That's what happens because you're accelerating your own growth. The sun represents growth, new beginnings, creation. And so this is saying that we want to hold on to what little security or stability we've got. But you see death coming in, change is inevitable. It's not a bad reading. It's actually quite beautiful and lovely. It's massive realizations here around your path, who matters, who doesn't. But trying to keep the status quo, you know, trying to keep yourself from feeling vulnerable, because there's that thin line, right, between innocence and vulnerability. I'm happy to be innocent when I'm at home behind closed doors, you know, what I know inside, but I have to show that? What do you mean I have to show that to people? I don't want people to think I'm a pushover. You've heard me say it before. Because I'm doing readings and hey, I've had enough people try to take advantage of me. Or try to guilt me into doing stuff. To take advantage. And I say it, I'm nice until I'm not. My natural state is to be, and I'm always loving. But even when I tell you, hell no, back the fuck up, I'm saying it out of love. Love for myself. That's boundaries. That's why we have them. We always do it out of love. But with the Four of Pentacles coming up here,